Welcome back to Gallery Watch. We are at the exhibition Stations of the Cross.
What we're doing tonight and during this week in a sense we remember that changed the world, we are recognising the wonderful gift of creativity.
Denise, thanks for joining us on Gallery Watch. Can you please tell me about this amazing, I have to touch it, I'm sorry.
No, it's
amazing
that's
piece.
the whole point of sculpture as far as I'm concerned. I was asked to be in this wonderful show, and I chose the Resurrection because it's a difficult one, and I've had an idea for quite some time now that with all the troubles in the world, the church itself is being resurrected at the moment because everybody's running back to their faiths. And so I thought it was very fitting, and with this one, I designed it so it's be outside, so it's all made with external, it's all varnished and everything on the inside, and marine ply, etc. All the plates are representing the little parishes, and the nails are the parishioners that keep it all going, and then it's they're on top of each other as the sort of the history of the church, So and then that builds the whole, which is the representation of the cross, which is obvious, but that builds the whole of the religion itself. It's a piece of public art sort of being out here, and I wanted it so that the sort of general public can get an instant sort of, it's instantaneously, you link to it because of the imagery that's on it. I made it really, really simple, as in there's no bells and whistles to it because I don't think it needed to, because I like to pare my work right down to the detail that matters, So I'm very pleased with it out here. I handmade all these. I cut them, trimmed them, and then I had to hammer them flat as well. So sort of the whole process was almost like a religious
Process.
Yeah, process. Yeah.
I was in here at 6 o'clock, getting the tree in, and then suspending it, and then putting those little rocks on it. And then,
How were you able to suspend the tree?
well, we had ropes, just roping it up temporarily, and then went and got the stainless steel cable when we got the orientation right, because I wanted to get that ellipse of stones to reflect the same ellipse on the ground. So they go up and they meet different points on the tree. So it's kind of like you have an organic object finding a resolution on a different plane. So that's what I kind of wanted with the work. For me, it was more like an existential thing, like where we all stumble. Our humanity arrives just when we think we are, impenetrable or powerful.
Something always reminds you that we're just human.
And it's the most beautiful moment. And it made me think about that, say, in the story of Christ. Like, was there that moment when this surety of a connection to the divine actually stumbled or tripped? And it made me think about, in the Christ story, how there was this inalienable value to humanity, a kind of a divinity in everybody, regardless of their capacities or, gender or whatever, And how it seems to me in my society increasingly that is almost gone. If you're an asylum seeker, you're in a concentration camp now. If you're not wealthy, you're a loser. All of those things. And it reminded me with the salt, I was thinking about, there's a reference to losing saltiness. There's some reference in Matthew about if salt loses its saltiness, you throw it out. It's like an idea that there's an inherent integrity that you can't lose.
Your art here has a very special history and also a very emotional connection with you. Can you let me know the story of this piece?
It is a very special look. my father was in World War II, and he was up in the islands, you know, up near Borneo, and there was the Japanese, there were oil wells on the island, and the Japanese wanted to have them. So there was a battle between the Australians and the Americans and the Japanese. It was a worthless, useless thing. It should never have happened. But all these men were up there stationed, and both sides were getting lots of casualties. Anyway, one of the things that happened all the time up there was men were doing craft things to pass the time, you know, when they weren't slaughtering each other. And so these particular it's a piece of plaiting that my father made from cigarette boxes. They had little nicely cellophane packets on, and he would open the cellophane, and you can see, flatten it out and then fold it, and it's a 4-strand plait. He made lots of things. He brought home all sorts of little things from old aeroplane bodies, and you know. But in this case, I felt that it symbolised the crucifixion of the fathers in that worthless event, you know. And and of course it's built around the Xanthorrhoea apricii, the black boy plant, and so that's from the desert. This one I brought it in from the Western Desert. A lot of symbolism in this piece, and of course the red symbolises pain, danger, blood, crucifixion.
I got the 7th position where Jesus falls down for the 3rd time, and I suppose what I was really interested in looking at here was I'm agnostic, but I obviously also was brought up within a Christian tradition and Christian schools and educated and so on and so forth. So in that light, you know, I was familiar with the story. But I suppose what I was interested in was not so much the spiritual pain that Jesus has most probably experienced, but that physical pain where he was lugging this massive, a stick across up a hill, being flogged every so often, having a really bad day, and that whole physical pain that he would have had to experience in that exercise of going from point A to the top of a hill. So that was sort of my starting point for making the work. And I was really interested in also looking at the material that I used. And the material that I've used is oil paint, but not oil paint in the tradition of how oil paint has been used in the context of making images for church or for religious iconography. This is solid oil paint, and I don't know whether you want to focus in on that, but it's actually a very tactile substance, and it's oil paint that I apply directly and very thickly. And from that, you know, it kind of has a visceral and trying to express that what was going on just right under the skin.
Hello, Reverend. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, I've been led to believe that when you were the Reverend here, it was actually your initial concept to open Wesley Church and have an art exhibition.
That's correct. I did pick up the idea, however, from a friend of mine in New South Wales who was a minister and an artist, and he started the whole idea in St Ives in New South Wales. When I came here as the minister, I asked the congregation if we could do a similar exhibition. 75 artists we've had present their works over the last 6 or 7 years. Yeah. But the beauty about getting the artists is they came from a varied backgrounds. You know, some were Christians, some were atheists, some came from different religion. We had Muslims, Buddhists. It didn't really matter to us who they were and what their background was, just that they were good artists. And we gave them the station and said, give us an interpretation, and they did, and they've just been amazing. You know, some of the stories have been incredible. Yeah.
And what was the concept behind opening the space for art? Was it to get people more interested in the church?
No,
What was it? What was it?
Not at all. No, we didn't want people to flock into the church and come sit on our pews. We weren't interested in that. What we were really interested in was having conversations about this journey that Jesus took towards the cross, because we all have to take the journey towards death at some stage, and learning things along the way was really important.
Well, that's all we have for today's program. I'm Nadia Hunter. See you next time on Gallery Watch West TV.